Welcome to Macabre Miscellanea, a curated collection of creepy curiosities. We've always been told to read the fine print. What we're rarely told is that by the time the fine print arrives, the decision was already made some time ago. Tonight's story takes place in an office. Fluorescent lights, dead air. A man who dresses for a job no one ever sees him do. He makes calls, he closes deals, he is very good at his work. The soul, it turns out, is one of those things easiest to lose on a Tuesday afternoon. Tonight's tale, cold calls. Turn down the lights. Let's begin.
Those who wonder if time exists need only work one shift as a telemarketer to put the question to rest. Afterwards, they will undoubtedly know that time is one sick bastard who hates humanity and will unflinchingly kick someone in the balls and eat their children if given the chance. Even a 4-hour shift feels slightly longer than the span between ice ages. Entire civilizations rise to their apex and fall back into obscurity in the gap between calls. Time is so hated in this room that every computer screen has a sticky note covering the clock, because none of us will look it in the face. Nothing eats away at what's left of a person's soul like assuming half an hour has passed and looking down to see it's only been 6 minutes. I sit dreading the next beep during one of those endless gaps. My sales sheet is empty except for doodles. Currently I'm working on an especially detailed rendition of what it would look like to hang myself by my tie. I've never understood why we have to dress up for this job. No one ever sees me. I could be naked except for a clown nose and a pair of high heels for all the customer knows. It's probably just to add to the eternal torture. Down in the lobby, Faust Sons corporate headquarters bleeds opulence. Black marble, soft light, security smiles. Up here on recruitment, it's just cubicles, dead air, and the fluorescent hum. The beep calls me back. "How are you doing tonight?" I chime with enough artificial saccharin to poison a horse. The last name on the screen doesn't contain a single vowel. Mr. Schieferthurst? Click. It's only about twice an hour that I get through the entire spiel before the person hangs up. At least hanging up is better than the obscenities, or worse, the ones who think they're being original with the old Seinfeld routine. They say they're busy, can they get my home number and call me back? Expecting me to say I don't give out my home number, so why am I calling theirs? The fucks I have left ran out years ago. I just give them my number. Ruins the joke every time. I'd love to talk to one of these people when the powers that be aren't listening. There are rules about threatening customers. I have a feeling that telling them what I'd like to do to their wives and pets probably violates that one. A sale would be nice though. No sales means another night on my sentence. I stand up and stretch. I can't see most of my co-workers over the cubicle walls, but the ones I can see are leaning back with their mouths hanging open, staring at the ceiling. If the sprinklers went off right now, I'm pretty sure most of them would be goners. Any hope or happiness left in any of them was snuffed out the moment they started this job. Maybe a sprinkler mishap would be welcome. This must be what the damned look like. Even though self-pity is one of my most beloved pastimes, I feel worse for some of them. RJ, for example, looks like he should be playing guitar on the porch of some dusty Mississippi shack rather than squinting at a computer screen trying to decipher green lines of text. He swims in his khakis, nothing but leathery skin stretched over bones. God only knows what poor decisions at what crossroads brought him here. His eyes say he gave up on life sometime around the march on Selma. I wonder how long he's been working this floor. We all had to sign a contract when we started. I wonder if RJ's was carved into a stone tablet. He catches me looking at him and nods. I give him a 2-finger salute and sit back down. I'm about to log out and take a very much needed extended bathroom break when the beep comes. "Hi, can I speak to..." The screen says Esther Johns. At least I can pronounce this one. "Ms. Johns."
This is she,
replies the wisp of a voice on the other end. I have a live one. Hi, ma'am. My name is Clinton Forrest, and I'm calling on behalf of Faust and Sons.
Oh, sweetie, I'm not interested.
For all this lady knows, I could be calling to give her $1 million. Technically, I could be, if that's what she really wants. But how do you know you're not interested if I haven't told you why I'm calling yet?
Oh, honey, I'm 87 years old and live on a fixed income. I don't have any extra for whatever you're selling.
I'm not selling anything, ma'am. I'm calling to offer you something, and it won't cost you a dime. I know your time is precious. A young lady such as yourself probably has a date to get ready for. But if you can spare just a minute, I can explain why I'm calling. I know I'm already in. The elderly are always desperate to talk to anyone.
Bless your heart. Okay. Tell me what you got. I don't have a date, but I was about to sit down to my supper.
Well, Esther, I think. How long this takes is up to you, old girl. There are only 2 rules on the job. The first is the 3-strike rule. The sale isn't over until the customer either accepts the offer or says no 3 times. Otherwise, I keep trying until they hang up. I can overcome any objection as long as I don't break the second rule. Thou shalt not lie. Fortunately, there's a gray area surrounding the definition of a lie, and I live there. A sale doesn't mean a signature. It means getting them to agree to see the offer in writing. I just need to nudge her enough to do that. Let me ask you a question, Ms. Johns. If you could have one thing in this world, what would it be? Open-ended question. Always gets an answer beyond yes or no, and gives the computer time to catch up and get me what I need.
Well, Clinton, to be honest with you, there's nothing my heart desires. God has blessed me in more ways than I can count. I've led a long life and been fortunate enough to see my generations have generations of their own. Jesus has truly smiled upon my life.
I roll my eyes so hard they almost make a full rotation. That answer couldn't be more bull. Everybody wants something. Want is the only thing that gets people out of bed in the morning. It's what put me and every person in this room into the chairs we're sitting in. It's what billions of people sell their souls to their employers for, day in and day out. The want to pay bills, the want of respect, the want of love. Everyone wants something. Some just don't want to admit it. I'm also pretty sure Jesus isn't smiling right now. Her answer is useless, but it gives my computer the time it needs. A list appears. 3 things the old lady wants, whether she admits it or not. There are always 3 things. No more, no less. In the corner of the interface sits the Faust and Sons logo. Bland, minimal, easy to ignore. A thin circle around an upright triangle, cut once by a diagonal slash. I wonder what was on my list when I got this same call a little over 3 years ago. The girl on the other end didn't even need to bring them up. I knew what I wanted. I was sitting down to dinner when she called, dinner being a couple of lines of Coke and a 4-pack of Busch Light. I listened to her introduce herself as I snorted the first line, and she hit me with the same open-ended question I just used on Esther. I took a swig of beer to wash down the numbing metallic slime from the back of my throat and told her exactly what I wanted. I wanted the charges dropped. I was due in court the next morning. The banquet in front of me was a last hurrah before 15 years for possession with intent to distribute. She told me Faust and Sons would be more than happy to take care of that. I did the second line and thought, this must be some good shit. She sounds pretty sure about that. Then I asked her who I had to sell my soul to. She told me, I hope I'm half as content when I'm your age, ma'am. I can tell you're a devout woman. It says here you're a member of the Missionary Baptist Church. Is that correct, Ms. Johns?
Why, yes. Are you also with the church?
Oh no, ma'am. I like to think I serve the Lord's plan in a different way. not a complete lie. I like to think a lot of things since I got my call. I like to think I didn't have a choice. I like to think I made the right decision. I like to think I'm not completely screwed. According to the screen, Esther isn't going to jail for selling Roxys to high school kids, so legal help won't work. The first thing on her list is altruistic. Apparently, the board at the Missionary Baptist Church isn't as pious as Ms. Johns. The collection plates go to line their pockets instead of paying the mortgage. The servicer listed isn't a bank, and it isn't Baptist either. Archdiocese Holding Trust. Faust Sons is stamped on the paperwork anyway. Although I'm not a member of the flock, Ms. Johns, I have heard that your shepherds have gone astray and the good parishioners of your church may be losing their place of worship. Esther lets out a sound halfway between a gasp and a moan.
It breaks my heart. I pray every night for God to provide a solution.
Here's my chance. We all know God works in mysterious ways, and maybe this call is the answer to your prayers. What if I told you we could make it so the doors of your church didn't have to close for a long, long time? Just as Jesus saved you, you may be the one who can save his house.
That would be a miracle, child. But I told you I'm on a fixed income. What could I do? It'd take a fortune to save the church.
Don't worry, Ms. Johns. Money is no problem, and it won't cost you a dime.
I was born at night, but not last night. Nobody gives away money for free.
Of course not, Ms. Johns. In return for solving the church's financial difficulties, our company just asks for a favor from you. The term favor is one of those things that lives in the gray area around a lie. I have no idea what her deal will cost her. The company spells out the terms in the contract. When my contract arrived, I was expecting an express envelope, maybe a padded folder. What came instead was a cylinder containing a scroll. An actual scroll, not a cheap prop. Carved handles, written on what looked like animal hide. There was a lot of legalese, but basically in exchange for my freedom, I agreed to work for Faust Sons for a specified term expiring once I reached 5,475 contracts. One for every day outside of prison I was being granted. It never occurred to me I was trading one form of imprisonment for another. The fact that I had to sign the contract by pricking my thumb with a provided pin and pressing it to the dotted line should have been a dead giveaway. Over the past 3 years, or 300, they all feel the same. I sometimes wonder what the other favors are. Not all of them can be like mine. I'm curious, but I make it a point not to wonder too long. Plausible deniability is a good thing. Besides, I'm pretty sure I'm getting an ulcer.
I don't know what I'd be able to do. I'm not a spring chicken anymore.
Don't worry, I say, glancing over at the skeletal RJ. I'm sure you're more than capable. Does helping out your church sound like something you'd be interested?
Child, I don't have time for your foolishness. If God has it in his plan to close our church, then we just have to accept it. The Bible says, when the Lord closes one door, he opens another. I'm gonna have to say no to your offer.
I'm getting tired of this God's plan rubbish. If God has a plan, it's pretty messed up. It includes kids with cancer, holy wars, and the existence of platypuses. As far as I'm concerned, if his plan involves me sitting in this chair right at this moment, God can lick my taint. I have one no from Esther. 2 more chances. I understand completely, ma'am, and I assure you I'm as serious as the grave. My company just wants to help you get to a place in life you deserve. Let me ask you about something a little closer to home. Your granddaughter. I glance at the screen. Johnny, is it?
Why, yes. How did you know?
It's our job to know everything about our prospective clients. How else can we be there when you need us? It looks like Johnny is going through a rough patch right now. Esther lets out that moan sigh again.
It breaks my heart just thinking about her. She was always the sweetest little thing, always smiling and happy. She started running around with the wrong people. She forgot about the Lord, and the devil got his hooks into her.
Yeah, I think. He tends to do that. How would you like to see that smile again? Have the old Johnny back like when she was little? We could help you with that. And all for the same small favor. There's a pause. I ride it out. They always break the silence eventually.
No. The child has to find the Lord again on her own. Her grandmother meddling around in her business would only work to push her away.
Damn it. That's no number 2. Maybe I had this old broad wrong. Maybe she's like me. Maybe she's in the game for herself, just like everyone else. There's only one more want left on the screen. If I'm going to get a sale, this has to be it. I can tell family is a big part of your life.
They are my life. At my age, they keep me going.
They must be a comfort to you since your husband Willie passed. How long has it been? Almost 2 months now.
2 months, 2 weeks, 3 days.
She breathes, slightly less than a whisper. Of course, I reply, mustering as much false sympathy as I can. I wonder why the hell they didn't list this one first. This is her deepest desire. Every day must feel empty without him. I continue in my best. I can feel your pain voice. You were together longer than I've been alive. Longer than my parents have been alive, for that matter. I couldn't imagine losing someone I'd shared the most intimate moments of my life with. From childhood to old age. The absolute hardest part must be going to sleep and waking up without him by your side. I know I'm laying it on thick, but Esther's succession of moan sighs gives me the confidence to keep going. I bet you'd give anything to have one more day with him.
Yes, I wait for the day when we will be together again in the kingdom of God. But I don't see where this is any of your...
I apologize, ma'am. I just want you to know we sympathize with your loss and that we can provide a respite from your pain. I cut her off before she can object further. This is the part of the call where I always start to feel a little dirty and can never figure out exactly why. My ulcer flares up like it's gonna burn through my stomach. I try to tell myself I'm giving people exactly what they want. If they don't want it, all they have to do is say no. I'm not twisting any arms. If the other deals are even remotely like mine, they can't be that bad. I'm only giving up 8 hours of my day versus the 24 I'd be giving up in prison. People working in fast food or retail are selling their lives at a much lower rate than I am. So what if I can't remember the last time I had a good night's sleep? I'm only doing my job.
He's gone. I don't know what you could do about that.
I don't have an answer. During my time with the company, I've promised some extravagant things. Money, fame, love. I've never promised to raise the dead. But if it's on the screen, I can offer it. Honestly, I don't know. It's above my pay grade. But I can promise you Faust and Sons follow through on their promises. We can send you out the paperwork. Look it over and see if it's acceptable. Signing is up to you. But if you do like what you see, I can promise you, you will see your husband again. What do you say? I can't push her any further. The choice has to be hers. The pain in my stomach flares as I wait for her answer. Ms. Johns, are you still there?
I'm here. I just don't know about all this. It sounds...
Like I said, let me just send you the paperwork. Sit down with a cup of coffee and look it over. If you don't like what you see, throw it away. But if you do, you will see him again. What do you say?
Yes, I suppose I can look at it.
Thank you, Ms. Johns. I'm sure you won't be disappointed. Esther hangs up without another word and goes back to her supper. I sincerely hope she enjoys her meal and has at least one more good night's sleep. I fill out the remaining fields and get up to stretch before submitting the application. The same lifeless faces haven't moved an inch since I started talking to Esther. The ones staring at the ceiling have a little more drool on their chins. RJ is still squinting at his screen. I sit back down. The pop-up on my computer has 2 buttons: sale and no sale. Staring at the screen, I can see a reflection staring back at me in the dark space behind the buttons, though I no longer know to whom it belongs.
And that was Cold Calls. The man made his calls. He kept his head down, followed the rules, and tried very hard not to think too deeply about the nature of the favor. A reasonable strategy. Most reasonable strategies in this line of work end the same way. The pop-up on the screen still only has 2 buttons. If you enjoyed tonight's story, subscribe for more, leave a like, and share it with someone who appreciates the darker things. New original horrors from Macabre Miscellanea arrive every week. Until next time, remember, every contract you've signed without reading it was a favor to someone else's ledger.